Hey, what's up? Sangano here, talking about figuring out my life in my 30s. So, this channel is dedicated to just different discussion points on career, life, and how I still don't have that clear vision about like what I really want to do with my life. So, just sharing what I'm learning in the process so that you learn something, I learned something in the process of doing this, and yeah, just have that knowledge sharing. So for today's video, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, but for today's video, I am going to be talking about my first solo trip outside of California. So in general, I've never done like a solo trip ever in my life, like outside of like my state. I've done like a small trip to like going up to San Francisco because I live in LA, but actually like taking a flight by myself, being in a hotel by myself, never done this. So yeah, first one, check. And I will do this again because I feel so good coming back after this trip that I think it needs to be part of my just like regular maintenance, honestly, for myself. But yeah, so I'm just gonna talk about why I chose Portland and just three highlights from the trip that I thought was just like so refreshing and just so great to experience. So I chose to go to Portland, Oregon, and I chose Portland, Oregon because I have never been there. So I had no ties, no connections, but I'd always heard it's so beautiful. There's a foodie scene. So I was like, all right, let's see what it's all about. And honestly, I'm so happy with that decision. It was a breath of fresh air to leave Los Angeles because it's been first hot. You can't even tell that we're in fall right now because it's been this heat wave we've had, which is crazy. But being up there, it was like that nice, crisp, cool air. Just breathing that in just felt refreshing. Being able to see the fall colors changing, just so many different things that, yeah, I just don't realize how much I don't see being in LA, just given like the climate where I'm at and the nature that's around me. But anyways, so yeah, chose Portland because I've never been, had no connection, and just really wanted to see what it's all about. And yeah, I'll have a video, just a little vlog of my trip so you can see more about that. But that's more in the background of wanting to go because I've never been. But some highlights on the trip uh, would be the first highlight was I went on a hiking tour, and excuse me, this hiking tour was about 30 minutes outside of Portland. So you're going towards like the Columbia River Gorge, and there's Multnomah Falls and like various other waterfall hikes in the area. But I did a tour so I could do that with other people. I just don't want to like go by myself in that situation because I don't know, nature, being by myself. I'm working on that aspect, but went on a tour and it was so funny. I was the first one at the meeting point, and I right after me, a couple from Idaho came, and then another woman came, and we all just gravitated towards each other. It was so funny. We were just have this like light spirit. We're like joking around all this stuff, and as more people came, we just all like gravitated towards each other, and we were in our own van, and there's other people who went on a different van. But that was such a fun, just a little connection point. I ended up finding out that the woman, she was a little older, in her 50s. She lived in Orange County, and her career was accounting, which I thought was so wild. Just, I don't know, I feel like I don't meet accountants like that just randomly. And the fact that she was from Orange County, like an hour away from LA, randomly doing this tour in Portland. It's like, how does that happen? And just thinking about how she's done accounting. So I was definitely interested in talking to her more and just really picking her brain about just her career path because obviously I've been trying to navigate away from accounting. So it was just really, really beneficial just being able to like honestly just talk to her about it with just the intention of what's it been like? You've done your career doing accounting, like what does that even look like for you? And it was just reaffirming, just from her point of view, how she never really wanted to do accounting either, but it was something that was stable for her and she's made it work for herself. So that was interesting to kind of get that perspective, and just how she really had no end goal with accounting, but just knew the reliability of it. And it just had me feeling like that's not what I want. I'm happy that I'm like trying to get out of this, because I just don't want to settle for something where I just like, I know it's just like, it's just there because I can always do it. So that was like really interesting, just getting that perspective from her. But it was like really cool getting to like meet her in the process, and we ended up hanging out after our tour. We like got lunch. So it was just nice having that unexpected connection in someone who was in a field that I have been contemplating. So who would have thought that that would have happened in that situation? The second highlight I would say was just me being able to do the solo trip and being in my own space. I feel like in general, when I do things on my own, here in LA, it's like I go to a coffee shop or something, but actually going and just doing a lot of activities on my own was a little unsettling, because that's like something I don't normally do, I would say. But it was just honestly nice to learn how to be comfortable in my own space and not be down on myself for it. It was just so refreshing, I guess, in that way, to be in my own space and do the restaurants on my own, walk around on my own in the city, take public transit, like all these things where I was like, I like my company. I think that was basically the takeaway, is like I really enjoy being in my own company. And that was just a nice takeaway from that experience in Portland. One plus was, I would say, was going into restaurants, honestly, as a single person is great, because I never had to wait for a table. That's just a side note. That was so fun. I was like, I should be doing this more often. I don't know. Anyway, side story there. But the last highlight would be just the fact, post this trip, I feel just so rejuvenated in a different way. Like I feel I have this drive to just come full force and just really tackle the rest of the year. I think before the trip, I was just getting, just down on myself for just trying to just do so much and putting a lot of pressure on myself, which was just like, what's this pressure for? Like, what am I doing, So just really being able to take that step back, being away, being in a different environment. Now that I'm back in my space, it's like, okay, don't beat yourself up for not having things figured out, which is why I did this channel, to talk about what I'm figuring out. And it's gonna be a step-by-step of what I'm learning, and that's just what I really have to remember, and not put myself down for not having this big progress that I'm expecting. Like, what does that even mean? So yeah, anyways, I just feel so much better in that sense, and just feeling more optimistic in terms of being able to tackle my day-to-day. And yeah, that was the highlights from Portland. I definitely want to make this, if not a quarterly cadence, a semi-annual cadence where I do that solo trip, because it was so nice, and highly recommend for anyone who's not done one yet. Now's your time. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What was your first solo trip? What did you learn? And put them in the comments. I'd love to hear. Bye.